Reporting application is a business intelligence application that inputs data from one or more sources and applies reporting operation to the data to produce business intelligence. Reporting application produce business intelligence using 5 basic operations. 1. Sorting. 2. Filtering. 3. Grouping. 4. Calculating. And 5. Formatting. None of these operations is particularly sophisticated. They can all be accomplished using SQL and basic HTML or a simple report writing tool. This simple operation can be used to produce complex and highly useful reports. Consider RFM, recency, frequency, and monetary, and OLAP, online analytical processing analysis, as 2 prime examples. RFM analysis is a technique readily implemented with basic reporting operation. It's used to analyze and rank customers according to their purchasing pattern. RFM considers how recently or R a customer has ordered, how frequently or F a customer ordered, and how much money or M the customer has spent. To produce an RFM score, the RFM reporting tool first sorts customer purchase records by the date of their recent or R purchase. In a common form in this analysis, the tool then divides the customer into 5 groups and gives customer in each group a score of 1 to 5. The 20% of the customer having the most recent orders are given an R score of 1. The 20% of the customer having the next most recent orders are given an R score of 2, and so forth, down to the last 20% who are given an R score of 5. The tool then resorts the customer on the basis of how frequently they order. The 20% of customers who order most frequently are given an F score of 1. The next 20% of most frequently ordering are given of an F score of 2, and so forth, down to the least frequent ordering customer who are given an F score of 5. Finally, the tool sorts the customer again according to the amount spent on their order. The first 20% who have ordered the most expensive item are given an M score 1, the next 20% are given an M score of 2, and so forth, down to the 20% who spend the least, who are given an M score of 5. The first customer, Big 7 Sport, has ordered recently and ordered frequently. Big 7 Sport M score of 3 indicate that it does not order the most expensive goods. From this score, the sales team can conclude that Big 7 Sport is a good regular customer and that they should attempt to sell more expensive goods to Big 7 Sport. The second customer in figure 9.15 could represent a problem. St. Louis Soccer Club has not ordered in some time, but when it did order in the past, it ordered frequently, and its orders were of the highest monetary value. The data suggests that St. Louis Soccer Club might have taken its business to another vendor. Someone from the sales team should contact his customer immediately. No one in the sales team should even think about the third customer, Miami Municipal. This company has not ordered for some time. It did not order frequently, and it did order it bought the least expensive item, and not many of them. Let Miami Municipal go to the competitor. The loss will be minimal. The last customer, Central Colorado State, is right in the middle. Central Colorado State is an okay customer, but probably no one in sales should spend much time with it. Perhaps sales can set up an automated contact system or use the Central Colorado State account as a training exercise for an eager department assistant or intern. Online Analytical Processing, or OLAP, is a second type of reporting application. It's more generic than RFM. OLAP provides the ability to sum, count, average, and perform other simple arithmetic operation on group of data. The defining characteristic of OLAP report is that they are dynamic. The viewer of report can change the report format. The OLAP report has measure and dimension. A measure is the data item on internet. It is the item that is to be summed or averaged or otherwise processed in the OLAP report. Total sales, average sale, and average cost are examples of measure. A dimension is a characteristic of a measure. Purchase date, customer type, customer location, and state region are all examples of dimension. Figure 9.16 shows a typical OLAP report. Here, the measure is net store sales, and the dimension is our product family and store type. This report shows how net store sales vary by product family and store type. For example, store of type supermarket sold a net of 36,139 worth of non-consumable goods. A presentation like in figure 9.16 is often called an OLAP cube, or sometimes simply a cubes. The reason for this term is that some software products shows this display using 3 axes, like a cube in geometry. Therefore, OLAP cube and OLAP report are the same thing. As stated earlier, the distinguishing characteristic of an OLAP report is that the user can alter the format of the report. Figure 9.17 shows such alteration. The user added another dimension, store country and store state. To the horizontal display, product family sales are now broken out by store location. The report shows that the sample data only includes store in the US and only in the western states, which are California, Oregon, and Washington. With OLAP report, it is possible to drill down into the data. This term means to further divide the data into more detail. In figure 9.18, the user has not only drilled down, she has also changed the order of the dimension. Figure 9.17 shows product family and then store location within product family. Figure 9.18 shows store location and the product family within store location. Both displays are valid and useful, depending on the user perspective. A product manager might like to see product family first, then the store location data. Sales manager might like to see store location first, then product data. OLAP reports provide both perspectives, and the user can switch between them while viewing the report. However, all of this flexibility comes at cost. If the database is large, doing the necessary calculating, grouping, and sorting for such dynamic display will require substantial computing power. Although standard commercial database management system products do have the features and function required to create OLAP report, they are not designed for such work. They are designed instead to provide rapid response to transaction processing application, such as order entry or manufacturing planning. Consequently, some organizations tune database management system product on dedicated server for this purpose. Today, many OLAP servers are being moved to the cloud. Data mining is the application of statistical techniques to find pattern and relationship among data for classification and prediction. Figure 9.19 shows data mining is resulted from convergence of disciplines. Data mining technique emerged from statistics and mathematics and form artificial intelligence and machine learning field in computer science. As a result, data mining terminology is an old blend from these different disciplines. Sometimes people use the term knowledge discovery in database, or KDD, as a synonym for data mining. Data mining techniques take advantage of development in data management for processing the enormous databases that have been emerged in the last 10 years. Most data mining techniques are sophisticated and are difficult to use well. Such techniques are valuable to organizations and some business professionals, especially those in finance and marketing, have become expert in their use. Data mining techniques fall into two broad categories: unsupervised and supervised. Unsupervised data mining, the analysts do not create a model or hypothesis before running the analysis. They apply data mining application to the data and observe the result. With this method, analysts create hypotheses after the analysis in order to explain the pattern found. One common unsupervised technique is cluster analysis. With it, statistical techniques identify groups of entities that have similar characteristics. A common use for cluster analysis is to find groups or similar customers from customer order and demographic data. Supervised data mining, where data miners develop a model prior to the analysis and apply statistical technique to data to estimate parameters of the model. One such analysis, which measures the effect of a set of variables on another variable, is called a regression analysis. As you will learn in your statistical classes, considerable skill is required to interpret the quality model. The regression tool will create an equation where the equation is a good predictor of future cell phone usage depend on statistical factors such as t-value, confidence interval, and related statistical technique. Neural networks are another popular supervised data mining application used to predict values and make classification such as good prospect or poor prospect customer. The term neural network is deceiving because it connotes a biological process similar to that in animal brain. In fact, although the original idea of neural nets may have come from the anatomy and psychology neural network is nothing more than a complicated set of possibly non-linear equations. There are two typical data mining tools: market basket analysis and decision trees. Market basket analysis is unsupervised data mining technique for determining sales pattern. A market basket analysis shows the product that customers tend to buy together. In marketing transaction, the fact that customers tend to buy product X, also buy product Y, create a cross opportunity. That is, if they buy X, sell them Y, or if they are buying Y, sell them X. Figure 9.20 shows a hypothetical sales data from 400 sales transactions at a dive shop. The first row of numbers under each column is the total number of times an item was sold. For example, the 270 in the first row of mash mean that 270 of the 400 transactions included mash. The 90 under dive computer means that 90 of the 400 transactions included dive computers. Because 270 of the 400 transactions were mash, we can estimate the probability that a customer will buy a mash to be 270 by 400 or 0.675. In market basket terminology, support is the probability that two items will be purchased together. To estimate the probability, we examine sales transaction and count the number of times that the two items occur in the transaction. For the data in figure 9.20, fins and mash appear 250 times, and thus the support for fin and a mash is 250 by 400 or 0.625. Similarly, the support for fin and width is 20 by 500 or 0.05. These data are interesting by themselves, but we can refine the analysis by another step and considering additional probabilities. For example, what proportion of the customer who bought a mask also bought fins? Masks were purchased 270 times, and of those individuals who bought masks, 250 are bought fins. Thus, given that a customer bought a mask, we can estimate the probability that he or she will buy fins to be 250 by 270 or 926. In market basket terminology, such a conditional probability estimate is called the confidence. Reflect the meaning of this confidence value. The likelihood of someone walking in the door and buying fin is 250 by 400 or 0.625, but the likelihood of someone buying fins given that he or she bought a mask is 0.925. Thus, all sales personnel should be trained to try to sell fin to anyone buying a mask. Now, consider dive computer and fin. Of the 400 transactions, fins were sold 250 times. So the probability that someone walk into the store and buy fins is 0.625. But of the 9 purchases of dive computer, only 20 appeared with fins. So the likelihood of someone buying fin given he or she bought a dive computer is 20 by 90 or 0.156. Therefore, when someone buys a dive computer, the likelihood he or she will also buy fin fall from 0.625 to 0.156. The ratio of confidence to this base probability of buying an item is called lift. Lift shows how much the base probability increase or decrease when order products are purchased. The lift of fin and a mask is the confidence of fins given a mask divided by the base probability of fin. In figure 9.20, the lift of fin and a mask is 0.926 by 0.625 or 1.32. Thus, the likelihood that people buy fins where they buy a mask increased by 32%. Many organizations are benefiting from market basket analysis today. You can expect that this technique will become a standard CRM analysis during your career. Decision tree is a hierarchical arrangement of criteria that predict a classification of a value. Here, we will consider decision tree that predict classification. Decision tree analysis are unsupervised data mining techniques. The analyst set up the computer program and provide the data to analyze, and the decision tree program produces the tree. Figure 9.21 shows an example provided by Insightful Corporation, a vendor of business intelligence tools. This tool examines data from 3,485 loans. Of those loans, 72% had no default, and 28% did default. To perform the analysis, the decision tree tool examined 6 different loan characteristics. With decision tree like this, the financial institution can develop decision rule for accepting or rejecting the offer to purchase loans from another financial institution. For example, if percent past due is less than 50%, then accept the loan. If percent past due greater than 50%, and if credit score is greater than 572.6, and if current LTV is less than 0.94, then accept the loan. Otherwise, reject the loan. The financial institution will need to combine this rich data with an economic analysis of the value of each loan to determine which loans to take. Decision trees are easy to understand and easy to implement using decision rules. They also can work with many types of variables, and they deal well with partial data. Organizations can use decision trees by themselves or combine them with other techniques. In some cases, organizations use decision trees to select variables that are used by other types of data mining tools. For example, decision tree can be used to identify good predictor variable for neural network. Big data is a term used to describe data collection that are characterized by huge volume, rapid velocity, and great variety. Other characteristics: 1. Big data sets at least a petabyte in size and usually larger. 2. Big data is generated rapidly. 3. Big data has structured data, free from text, log files, possibly graphic, audio, and video. Because big data is huge, fast, and varied, it cannot be processed using traditional techniques. MapReduce is a technique for harnessing the power of thousands of computers working in parallel. The basic idea is that the big data collection is broken into pieces, and hundreds or thousands of independent processors search these pieces for something of interest. That progress is referred to as the map phase. In Figure 9.22, for example, a data set having the log of Google searches is broken into pieces, and each independent processor is instructed to search for and count search keywords. This figure shows a small portion of the data. In that section, you can see a portion of the keyword that begin with H. As the processor finishes searching, the results are combined in what is referred to as the reduce page. The result is a list of all terms searched for on a given day and the count of each. The process is considerably more complex than described here, but this is the essence of the idea.